Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. This is Steph Lee, the founder of Har, and you are listening in on the Friday 15. And as you can see, if you're listening on YouTube, we have a co-host today. I'd like to welcome Lori Speere from Levarté Travel. Hey, Lori.
Hi, thank you, Stephanie, for having me, and happy Friday, everybody.
I know, and it's Earth Day, which is very exciting.
Ooh.
So I'm really hoping to be able to go out in Minnesota. I don't know what Earth Day is like everywhere else, but in Minnesota, like the snow's just finally melted, so there's just like garbage everywhere that's been there all winter. So usually like people go around in their neighborhoods and pick up all the trash and everything. So I'm definitely going to be doing that because I'm really excited for spring and summer.
Oh, me too. We've had a little touch of it, but it comes and goes. But that trash thing sounds like my backyard.
Well, Lori, I can come and take care of it today. Just give me, like the little picker upper for the garbage and we'll be fine.
Okay, great.
Well, everyone, we've got some great questions for you today. If you're a fan of the Friday 15, make sure to go ahead and either subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or you can go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I wanted to say, I've noticed that people on YouTube have been saying like, smash that like button or like slam it, but it just seems really lame to me. So all I can say is press the button. All right, Lori, so let's jump into our first question. So this one comes from Todd, and Todd asks, I just signed up for your 7-day travel agency challenge. And if you're not familiar with that, that's HAR's 7-day setup. I'll put a link in the resources. It's great for new advisors starting out. So just finished the 7-day travel agency challenge. I'm planning to start a travel agency geared towards LGBTQ plus travelers. Do you know of host agencies that would be particularly suited for LGBTQ plus travelers? In other words, I'm looking for a host agency with LGBTQ plus travel suppliers or the ability to connect them. So great question, Todd. Lori, what are your thoughts on this?
It's a great question. I don't know that there's a host agency out there right now that only does that or specializes in just that. But you do want to see and always ask questions of your host agency. You're going to want to know if they have the suppliers that support that community, and if they're also supported of it themselves. And then there's the organization that we talked about earlier, ILGTA, that I just found out about. Actually, I want to register for, and that means that you can find out the suppliers that are part of that organization and make sure they're part of your host that you're looking to connect with. And they're part of maybe even their preferred, or maybe they don't have them. So this is a good opportunity for you to ask questions of your host agency, which I'm a firm believer, to find a good match. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, Todd, I'm 100%. IGLTA is a great resource, and we're going to link to them. And that's the International Gay and Lesbian Travel Association. And we will put a link to them in the show notes. That's really helpful. You're able to find suppliers that are very specifically targeted. This is their niche, the LGBTQ community. So like Lori said, check out IGLTA, and then with those suppliers, like if you find ones that really fit what your demographic is looking for, like let's say it's males, between like 20 and 40 or something, in the LGBT community, then I would go to your host agency and ask them about that specific supplier. So Lori, like which, do you have any suppliers within Levarté that are IGLTA?
We actually do. And another thing is, if you have a host already or you're looking for one, let them know that's your specialty and your plans, like you just said, Todd, to us, so they can add, if they're willing to, the vendors that you need them to add. We currently have Olivia Tours on there, and they do a lot of cruises and different tours geared towards that community. But you want to maybe share with your host agency, because if one of my advisors came to me and said, I know this is part of ILGTA. Could you also have this vendor listed? I would immediately add it so that could support their business.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, Todd, that's a great point too when you're talking to the host agencies is to ask them what vendors they would suggest for the LGBTQ plus community, because there's mainstream suppliers, they will have, you're able to book this travel for anyone, whether or not you're LGBTQ or not. But I would ask them, like, what specific ones that are focused on your community do they have in their preferred supplier list? And if you're not familiar with preferred suppliers yet, Todd, I'll put a link in the comments to an article about what they are and why they're important. And you can kind of go from there. Because the other thing is, you might be able to find a host agency that has, like, say, instead of, like, because they would be preferred at Levarté with Lori, that maybe instead of getting 10%, like maybe she's getting 13% for her
Exactly.
agents. So ask what the commission levels are if there's a specific vendor that you're interested in.
Oh, that's a really good point too, is making sure that your host has the highest commission structure for the vendor that you want to, you're going to be selling a lot of.
Yep. Excellent. Yep. Perfect. Well, let's see. Question 2 is from Anonymous. And they're asking, I am thinking of registering the business as a sole proprietor. Essentially, I will be acting as a reseller booking agent. And at the beginning, I can't foresee much risk, which is very true. However, if the business grows, is it easy to switch from a sole proprietor business structure to one that protects my personal assets? All right, Lori, what are your thoughts on this?
That's a big question. And, but again, another good one. And this is so much fun. I'm loving this.
I know. I'm loving hanging out. We can pick up trash and just, like, go over, like, questions together.
I know, right? It's a plan. Okay. First of all, you shouldn't have any problem switching. Okay. And there may be some things that you need to do differently when you do that switch. You might have to have a new bank account. You'll have to find out probably from your accountant, what is the best thing and what your steps are, or even from your host agency. One of the things we do at Levarté is I was already impressed that you even had this question, because as an independent contractor with the host agency, you should take your business seriously and you should operate it like a business. And one of the things that we do, and I'm just going to talk about what we do, and I'm sure several host agencies do this, is we talk a lot about your business. We have a whole training, because a lot of people starting new to the business come in entry level and may start as an individual, like you just said. And then we encourage you to move it into a business frame, getting your EIN number, separate bank account. We even go as far as training on a business plan, a 5-year business plan, because you're taking this seriously. You want to get your branding out there. You want to get your EIN number, LLC, if that's what you so desire. Sometimes you could just do a DBA with the EIN. So whatever, it's your
Okay, hold on, Lori. I'm going to stop you there because that was a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
So can you do DBA and EIN? Explain what those are really quick.
Okay, now it does depend on your state and sometimes even your county. So you have to look at what your state and county does. But a DBA is doing business as. So if you don't want to put it under Lori Speare's, you want to put it under Lori's Travel Designs, then you go to your county in my state and you get a doing business as, and you operate under your business name, and then you get an EIN number, which is a federal tax number. Some call it a FEIN number, where you don't have it go under your Social Security, personal Social Security. Now it's under a federal tax ID for and attached to your business.
Yeah.
So getting your business structure lined out should be something your host agency helps you with. We take it very seriously. Some agents come to us already set up like that, and some need help with it. And like I said, we provide training for that, assistance and advice. And then also the next step to that is branding your business. And I think very important is showing you how to do a 5-year projected business goal, a business plan with goals. And so you can actually say, this is what I'm going to do. This is the money I want to make. And this is what I need to do to make it. And the important thing, one more thing
No, that's
about a business plan is, unfortunately, they don't always go like this. They go like this. So what you do with your business plan is you look over it and you evaluate what's working, and you keep doing that and evaluate what isn't working and make changes.
that's living, breathing document. It's hard to predict 5 years in the future. As we all know, as we're going through this global pandemic, it was like, this was not in my 5-year plan.
Exactly. Yeah, you would have to go back and make some adjustments to your 5-year goal after the last couple of years, for sure.
Yeah.
But
Who
you have
knew
to have a forecast. You know,
It
you have
is.
to have it written down in goals. So setting up the business legally is one way, and then also your business plan with your 5-year projection.
Yeah, yeah, and anonymous, like Lori said, it's really easy to switch over. And I was sharing with Lori before this that when I switched from sole proprietor to an S corp, it was actually surprising to me because I didn't realize this isn't a huge deal, but something to be aware of. Is I had to switch like bank accounts, so that was something I didn't anticipate. So if you're thinking like in 6 months, you'll probably be at an LLC. I would say you may as well just pay the LLC money now because it'll save you the hassle of uh, having to change out your bank account information everywhere. But it's kind of up to you. But welcome to the business, Anonymous. It's very exciting, and we're really happy to have you. So, oh, you know what else? I'm going to put a link in the show notes too. We do have an article on business structures. So if you're listening in and you're not really sure what these business structures are, you're like, what's the S corp, and you want more help with the like FEIN number. You'll be able to look at that article, and it'll be a great resource for you.
Oh, I just love your articles. I was telling Stephanie before, I would just like to pick her brain for a whole day because she writes all these articles and they're all so good. So if you haven't gone to Har's articles just to get educated, you need to. I go
And
there myself.
there's cute puppy photos in there too
Oh, well,
sometimes,
that's
Lori.
right there. We have to do it for that.
I know,
Add a puppy
exactly.
photo.
Well, let's see. So just a reminder, if you do like, again, what you're hearing and you want to make sure you don't miss another one, you can go to hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15 and sign up for e-reminders. So you'll get an email before about maybe 10 minutes before every Friday 15. All right, last question here, Lori. This is from Susan S. And Susan asks, thank you so much for your very helpful blogs. You're welcome, Susan. I do have a question I am having trouble clarifying. Can I use an IATAN number to book group travel and receive commission? My 15 plus years of corporate experience are land-based, but I currently have a client wishing to book 50 to 75 cruise rooms. I'm not sure if the IATAN number is sufficient for me to do so, or if I quickly need to apply for a CLIA number. Thanks in advance for your assistance. All right. Lori, how can we help this corporate agent that has somehow landed up into a cruise group?
Right. Well, congratulations for entering into a different world, first of all.
Yeah.
Brave, you're brave. You're brave. But I once was a corporate agent too, so I understand.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
started out
Wow.
as a corporate agent, Sabre specialist, whole thing.
Oh,
But
that's really cool.
went into leisure and it stole my heart. And it is kind of my preference now. But that's why I said brave soul that's going to try doing even a group cruise when you. So I have a couple things to say on this. First of all, the answer to the question is yes, you can book a cruise with just an IATA number. You don't have to get a CLIA number. But now at Levarté, we're big supporters of CLIA. And I just want to talk a minute on the membership and how it could be a big advantage to you. And that's for several reasons. The training is unbelievable, which you may want to take a few training courses that they offer. They're not expensive because you're going to do something different and do something out of your comfort zone.
Good investment.
Yes. And also the membership at Levarté, we believe in it so much that we reimburse our advisors 50% of their membership when they complete 4 courses. Wow. Now, those are the courses that are just continuing education good. But what I really love about the membership at CLIA is they have a certification program. And to me, certification puts you on another level. a competitive advantage, and the education that you get, your productivity increases. It's proven. And even when you join CLIA, now if you're part of a host agency, you would probably join under that host agency. It's different. If you
They have
join
separate membership. Yeah.
right, it's a different kind of membership. If you join on your own as CLIA, you do get a booklet that gives you several additional commission on cruises, that anything you invested in your membership is actually recovered with that additional.
Oh yeah, the bonus commissions
The
and their
bonus
coupon booklet.
commissions. Exactly. So any kind of certification training that's offered out there, and CLIA certainly has it, but it is kind of crazy. There's IATA, there's ARC, there's CLIA, there's a lot of different things, but we're in a host environment. We're talking about mostly here. Your host should have you covered with all those that you need another time to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
At Levarté, we don't have an ARC. We don't issue tickets. So if you're a corporate agent that issues tickets, you're going to want to make sure your host agency has that capability as well.
Yep. Great. So, Susan, hopefully that kind of helps you out. We'll put a link in to an article about travel agency accreditations and the different options. We'll put one in for certification that talks about the CLIA certification and gives the cost of it. Because I'm with Lori, a big fan. And for those of you that aren't familiar with who CLIA is, it's the Cruise Lines Industry Association. So it's essentially like the lobbying group and the education arm of all the cruise lines. And yeah, their training is phenomenal because it also requires you go on ship inspections. And they're people that are very passionate about cruising that are teaching these courses. So highly recommend it as well. And Susan, because you're new to booking groups, and I'm going to put a couple articles in about booking groups. One is like, well, I'll do one that's like finding groups, which they seem to be falling into your lap, Susan. So this is not a problem for you, but for anyone else. But there's also one like on suppliers' advice on what they want you to know about booking groups, and also group booking tips from travel advisors. So hopefully you can find.
Look at all this great info that she has. I love it. Also, if you are part of a host, they should be offering that training as well. And group training is a big one. Also, the suppliers, actually, our travel partners, whatever cruise line you're looking at, I highly suggest you go and take their training on groups. Their initial training, whatever the booking engine is that they use for travel agents, that training, and their group training. Because even though you know groups, every cruise line does it different.
Yeah, and chat with the groups department. Like get hooked up right away with their groups department, and they'll be able to really guide you through kind of this journey that you're on. So, well, Lori, if anyone wants to chat with you more about any of these questions or learn more about Levarté, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
The best way to reach out to us is marketing@levartétravel.com.
Excellent.
That's not my personal email, of course, but that goes right to where you'll get your questions answered.
Excellent. And
you can also visit our website, levartétravel.com. I'm going to say one thing. Everybody's Levarté. Levarté is e-travel spelled backwards.
Yes. You told me that last time, and I remembered it.
That's how you can remember how to spell it. So levartétravel.com. That email I mentioned is on there, plus a lot of anything you want to know about our host agency.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Let's see. Next week, we will be back at 12 p.m. Central Time. We will have another co-host next week, and that will be Jackie Friedman from Nexion. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. It was a wonderful afternoon. Lori, thanks for sharing your knowledge.
So much. This has been so much fun. Thank you. Made my day.
All right, everyone, have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next Friday.